Okay, this is lesson 6.4. And in this lesson, we are going to solve two-step equations. In 6.3, we learned to write them. Now we're going to solve them. And at the end, we're going to write them and solve them. Okay, so let's get started. Two-step equations. Remember, those are equations that have two operations happening to the variable. Okay, two operations happening to the variable. To solve, we're going to use inverse operations, and we're going to do that one at a time. First, we are going to undo addition or subtraction. If there is addition or subtraction in the equation, we're going to do the inverse of those first. Then we're going to undo multiplication or division. Okay, so addition or subtraction gets undone first. Multiplication and division get undone second. So here are some examples. We have 9s plus 3 equals 57. First, we're going to use inverse operations to undo any addition or subtraction. Well, there's addition right there. If I see the s, I see that it's being multiplied times 9 and 3 is being added. So I write my line where the equal sign is, because you know you have to do inverse operations on both sides. So I'm going to minus 3 because that's the inverse of adding 3, and I'm going to do that to both sides. Now, these 3's will cancel out because plus 3 and minus 3 is 0. I'm left on this side with 9 times s, and that equals 57 minus 3 is 54. Okay? Now I'm going to use inverse operations to undo any multiplication or division. Right now, s is being multiplied times 9. So to undo multiplication, I'm going to divide. Remember, I have to do it to both sides. So divide by 9, divide by 9. Those 9's will cancel, though, because 9 divided by 9 is 1. So I get 1s equals 54 divided by 9 is 6. Okay? So the solution is that s equals 6. Remember, I'm going to use inverse operations to undo addition or subtraction first. Then I'm going to do that to both sides. Then I'm going to use inverse operations to undo any multiplication or division second. And then I'm going to do that to both sides. But I do it, it's 2 steps. That's why this is called a two-step equation. The first step is to undo addition, subtraction. The second step is to undo multiplication, division. All right, let's do a couple more. Okay, so here we have k divided by 2 plus 9 equals 30. So again, I'm going to use inverse operations to undo addition or subtraction first. You see the k is here, it's being divided by 2, and 9 is being added. So I'm going to draw my line to separate the two sides. The inverse of adding 9 is subtracting 9, so I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. Those cancel, I get k divided by 2 equals 30 minus 9 is 21. So I'm going to use inverse operations now to undo multiplication or division. This is division. K divided by 2 equals 21. The inverse of dividing is multiplying. So I'm going to multiply this side times 2 and this side times 2. Remember, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other to keep them equal. So those 2's are going to cancel. This becomes k equals 21 times 2, which is 42. And so k is 42 in that problem. Now, this is a little bit different here because it is two-step equations with negative numbers. I have negative 18 equals negative 2x minus 32. So I have to remember the rules for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing with negative numbers. So we're still going to use inverse operations when we're still going to undo all of the operations, but we're going to do addition or subtraction first. So here's my x. What is happening to x? First of all, it's being multiplied times negative 2, and then 32 is being subtracted. I'm going to undo the subtraction first. How do I undo subtracting 32? I add 32. So I'm going to add 32 here, which means I have to add it here. Those are going to cancel. I get negative 2x equals negative 18 plus 32 is 14. And again, you can use your calculator in this module. So you get 14 over here. Now I have the next step. I still have x times negative 2. If I'm multiplying here, then the inverse is dividing. So I'm going to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. Those will cancel. X equals 14. That's a positive 14 divided by negative 2. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So in this case, x is negative 7. The last thing we're going to do in this lesson is go back to what we were doing in 6.3. We're going to write the equation from a situation and then also solve it, okay? So we're going to put this lesson together with the last lesson. Now we're going to write and solve, okay? So next page, we have two situations. We're going to write and solve the two-step equations. All right. After making a deposit, Pooja had $264 in the bank. If she added $26 to the original amount in the bank and then doubled the sum, she would get the new amount. How much did she originally have in the account? Remember, whatever it's asking you to find, how much did she originally have in the account? That is what you make your variable. So let the variable stand for the missing amount. So x is going to equal the original amount, how much she originally had. Okay, what did she originally have in the bank? Okay, that's what we're trying to find. So now we have to read the problem carefully and figure out what happens to x. Well, there's the original amount right there. 26 is being added to it. And then that sum is being doubled. So I have my x, I'm adding 26, but that entire sum is doubled, meaning if you double something, you multiply it times 2. If you double something, you have 2 of them, right? 2 times. So all of that, 2 times x plus 26, that whole thing is equal to 264. Okay, now I'm going to solve. This one has an extra step in it because of this parentheses. We're going to go back to what you learned in lesson 6.1, which was to distribute. Whenever I have a number right up next to a parentheses, and I have operations inside, if I have a variable in there, I can't add those two things together. So I'm going to distribute first. I'm going to do 2 times x, which is 2x. Then I'm going to do 2 times 26, which is 52. And I'm going to make that equal to 264. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use distribution to get rid of the multiplication, actually. I just got rid of those parentheses. Now I can start using inverse operations. I have 2 times x plus 52. I'm going to undo this plus 52 by subtracting 52. And remember, I have to do it to both sides. So those cancel. I get 2x equals 264 minus 52. 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 5 is 1. And then 2. Now, I have 2 times x equals 212. That's multiplication. So I now have to divide by 2, divide by 2. So x is going to equal 212 divided by 2, which is 106. Okay, so the original amount she had in the bank is $106. Okay, I did that really fast. So if you need to pause, rewind 2 minutes and watch that again. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Another example of writing and solving. Okay, another example of writing and solving. The current temperature in small town is 20 degrees. So that is the temperature right now. This temperature, 20 degrees, is 6 degrees less than twice the temperature that it was 6 hours ago. What was the temperature 6 hours ago? So again, x equals the temperature 6 hours ago, because that's what we're looking for. Okay, so what happened to that temperature? Well, it's 6 degrees less. That means subtract twice the temperature. Twice means multiply by 2. That's the same as double. So if I take twice that temperature, whatever that temperature was, and I multiply it by 2, that's twice. But then I have to subtract 6 because it's 6 degrees less than double, right? So I double it and then subtract 6. That is 20 degrees, okay? That's my equation, 2x minus 6 equals 20 degrees, okay? So again, x is the temperature 6 hours ago, and that is 6 degrees less than twice the temperature. So I take that temperature, find 2 times that temperature, that's twice, and then I take 6 degrees less. I subtract 6, all right? Now I can solve 2x minus 6 equals 20. So add 6. Remember, I'm going to undo addition or subtraction first. Those cancel. I get 2x equals 20 minus 6 is 14. So this is 2 times x equals 14. So that's multiplication. So I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. Those cancel. X equals 7. So 6 hours ago, it was 7 degrees. Okay? Now, again, I did all that pretty fast. But with these videos, you can always pause and back up a minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever you need, and watch them again. Ask any questions. While you're doing your learn and do, try to practice. See if you can figure out how to do it, and I will help you when you need help. That was lesson 6.4. This is the last one in module 6.